Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. Before the Shura Council, His Excellency the Minister of Transport and Communications stresses on the completion of Atom Muscat dual road in 2019. The Civil Service Council discusses in its first meeting of the year plans of training employees of ministries and government units in the Sultanate. Omani-Japanese Economic Cooperation Forum discusses increasing channels of commercial exchanges between the Sultanate and Japan, mainly at Special Economic Zone in Duqm. And the details of the first voyage through the heart of empty quarters are showcased in the National Museum in Muscat. Good evening once again, and thank you for joining us. Those with headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has received a cable of thanks from His Majesty King Abdullah bin Al Hussein of Jordan in reply to His Majesty's cable congratulating him on his birthday. The project of the Atom Muscat dual carriageway will be completed in 2019. That was affirmed by His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed Al Fatisi, Minister of Transport and Communications, before the Shura Council. The members of the Shura Council called upon the Minister to reduce the charges of telecommunication services, especially telephone tariffs. The meeting also dwelt on the project of the new Muscat International Airport, which is almost to be completed. The members questioned the Minister on the reasons behind the late operation of the airport. The discussions of the Shura Council members also touched upon the increase in the prices of Muscat-Salalah flights tickets. The members also notified the Transport and Communications Minister to take into consideration the cases of taxi car owners who are affected by the operation of the National Transport Company Muwasalat. They as well urged the Minister to take advantage of the logistics sector, as the Sultanate has a number of ports and airports distributed in various governorates of the Sultanate. From his side, the Minister pointed out that the Sultanate comes 49th internationally in the Logistic Index, adding that the Ministry of Transport and Communication is implementing 16 initiatives in this regard, topped by border linkage between the Sultanate and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, along with mining railway project. The Council of Civil Service held its first meeting of the year today under the auspices of His Excellency Sayyid Khalid bin Hilal Al Busaidi, Minister of Diwan of the Royal Court and Chairman of the Civil Service Council. The meeting reviewed the follow-up report on what has been done in the implement the decisions and recommendations of its fourth meeting for 2017. It discussed a number of topics from various government institutions regarding regularizing job conditions for some categories of staff to be in line with the terms of references of their institutions and the duties and responsibilities of their jobs according to the legal provisions in the civil service law, its implementing regulations and the job classification system. Afterwards, the meeting also discussed a number of topics relating to request for appointment and contracts for some technical positions in the light of the jurisdiction of the Council in this regard. The Council discussed the reasons of such requests in terms of their importance to the functioning of the concerned authorities and the exercise of the terms of references assigned to it, particularly in the area of the completion of the technical aspects associated with its work and the implementation of their own projects. The meeting reviewed a number of other topics on its agenda sent by various ministries and government units and took the appropriate decisions and recommendations in their regard. The Omani-Japanese Economic Cooperation Forum for Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises discussed in Muscat increasing channels of commercial exchanges between the Sultanate and Japan. The forum is held on the occasion of the 45th anniversary of Oman-Japan relations and discussed also opportunities of investments at Special Economic Zone in Duqm and tourism strategy in the Sultanate. The forum seeks to transfer Japanese expertise in the fields of information technology and modern Japanese craft industries to the Sultanate, in addition to open the Japanese markets before Omani products of small and medium-sized enterprises. On the sideline of the forum, Japanese experts presented a number of training courses for Omani entrepreneurs at a number of promised economic sectors. The forum is accompanied by an exhibition and direct meetings between Omani and Japanese businessmen for exchanging experiences in a number of sectors and searching for cooperation opportunities and partnership between both countries. The inauguration ceremony was presided over by His Excellency Dr. Ali bin Masoud al-Sinaidi, Minister of Commerce and Industry. In preparation for the Sultanate accessions to the Maritime Labour Agreement, a national work session was held with the participation of experts from the International Labour Organization and a number of concerned bodies for introducing requirements of this agreement to the specialist. During the sessions, the United Nations praised the Sultanate's cooperations with it, especially in what related to its commitment to international work standards, and expressed its relief for Omani efforts exerted in the field of maritime labor, welcoming the Sultanate's joining to this international agreement. The history of the first trip to the heart of empty quarter desert in 1930, which was led by the traveler Sheikh Saleh bin Khalid al-Rashidi, was displayed by the National Museum in Muscat. The Sheikh was accompanied by the British explorer Bertram Thomas. For the first time, the possessions of the travelers were exhibited in the museum. This included the khanjar of bin Khalid, which is considered as one of the unique khanjars in the Sultanate, along with clothes, books, as well as songs, in addition to photographs that authenticate the first and second trip to the heart of the Arabian desert. These items were displayed at the museum on Wednesday under the auspices of His Excellency Dr. Hilal bin Ali Al Hinai, Secretary General of Research Council, will last for 3 months. The event included the inauguration of Crossing the Empty Quarter book in the footsteps of Britain of Bertram Thomas by Mark Evans in Arabic. The adventurous journey took place in 2015. Mark Evans was accompanied by Mohammed Al-Zidgali and Amir Al-Wahabi. They started their trip from Salalah down to Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, crossing 1,300 kilometers through the heart of the Arabian desert on camels. The museum is considered a valuable chance for Omani youth to acquaint with the unique way of life in the deserts and the challenges being faced by people living there, along with the history of the Sultanate in general. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and still to come in our news bulletin. Arab Tourism Organization praises the Sultanate's efforts in developing its touristic sector.
هل تعرفين سر طعم كيري الرائع؟ طبيعتنا الكريمة وخيراتها الطازجة وعطاؤها الواسع، وكل عنايتنا تعطينا أجود أنواع الحليب مع لمستنا الخاصة الغنية بالقشطة. هذا سر طعم كيري. كيري، طعم روعة من خير الطبيعة. كيري كيري كيري.
Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The United Nations Security Council has unanimously approved a resolution demanding a 30-day ceasefire across Syria without delay to deliver humanitarian aid to millions and evacuate the critically ill and wounded. The sponsors, Kuwait and Sweden, amended the resolution late yesterday in a last-minute attempt to get Russian support, dropping a demand that the ceasefire take effect in 72 hours. After the vote, many council members urged stepped-up efforts to ensure a ceasefire and get assistance to millions in need. Mansour Ayad al-Utaibi, the Kuwaiti ambassador to the United Nations, said, "This resolution is the least we can do for the Syrian people." U.S. Army General John Nicholson said he expected the Daesh group and the Taliban to continue mounting attacks across Afghanistan. Nicholson, commander of the Resolute Support Mission in Afghanistan, was speaking at least 23 people died in 4 separate attacks across the country yesterday. A suicide bomber killed at least 2 and wounded 7 in the diplomatic area of Afghanistan's capital, Kabul. The Daesh group claimed responsibility for the attack. Also yesterday, at least 18 soldiers died in an attack on a checkpoint by Taliban insurgents in the country's west, and at least 3 security personnel were killed in separate suicide bombing attacks in southern Helmand province. The recent attacks have underscored the weaknesses of Afghan security forces more than 16 years after the U.S.-led invasion toppled the Taliban. Egypt's Antiquities Ministry announced the discovery of an ancient necropolis near the Nile Valley city of Minya, south of Cairo. The latest discovery in an area known to house ancient catacombs from the Pharaonic late period and the Ptolemaic dynasty. The large cemetery is located north of Tuna al-Gabal area, a vast archaeological site on the edge of the Western Desert. It hosts a range of family tombs and graves. Archaeologists started excavations work in the area late last year on a quest to find the remainder of the cemetery of Upper Egypt's 15th time or Nom during ancient time. They found tombs belonging to priests of Thoth, the ancient god of the moon and wisdom. One tomb includes more than 1,000 statues and 4 were preserved alabaster canopic jars inscribed with hieroglyphics and designed to hold the mummified internal organs of their owner, who was a high priest of the god Thoth. The priest mummy was also found decorated with blue and red beds and bronze gilded sheets. 2 lions rescued from zoos in war-torn Iraq and Syria in 2017 were being flown to a big cat sanctuary in South Africa today after recuperating from physical and psychological trauma in an animal sanctuary in Jordan. The pair were coaxed with chunks of meat into metal crates by their lead trainer, Saif Rawashide, before being carried into a large cargo truck at the alAwliya Animal Sanctuary. The truck drove 60 kilometers to catch a flight from the Jordanian capital Amman to Johannesburg via Doha, Qatar. Animal Rights Group 4 Paws International rescued the 2 African lions named Saeed and Simba from Magic World Zoo in Aleppo and Mosul Zoo, respectively. Diana Bernas at the alAwliya Animal Sanctuary, which partnered with the Princess Aliyah Foundation in Jordan to rehabilitate the lions, said most animals in those zoos died, and the 2 lions arrived in Jordan emaciated and dehydrated. Rawashide is traveling with the lions to be a familiar face and voice for 2 weeks to help them adjust to their new lives. Back to some more local news. His Excellency Abdul Aziz bin Mohammed Al Rawas, advisor to His Majesty the Sultan for Cultural Affairs, received in his office today Dr. John Duke Anthony, founding president and chief executive officer of the National Council on U.S.-Arab Relations, who is currently visiting the Sultanate with a group of U.S. Central Command's officers. During the meeting, they discussed developments in the regional and international arena. It as well discussed the good bilateral relations binding the Sultanate and means of strengthening cooperation between the 2 countries in various fields. The U.S. delegation praised the wise leadership of His Majesty the Sultan and the efforts exerted by the Sultanate to achieve peace and security on the regional and international level. His Excellency Ahmed bin Nasser al-Mherzi, Minister of Tourism, said that the Sultanate and Iran are able to increase touristic cooperation and exchange through establishing joint tourism companies. Through this his visit to Tehran, His Excellency stressed the importance of activating the sea route which connects the Sultanate with Bandar Abbas, praising the increase in Iranian tourist movements in Muscat, which led to touristic infrastructure growth. His Excellency the Minister of Tourism held a meeting with Ali Asghar Monsan, Chairman of Cultural Heritage, Handicrafts and Iranian Tourism at the Museum of Saadabad Historical Palace north of Tehran. Arab Tourism Organization praised the touristic potentials in the Sultanate and the role of economic development sector in addition to the contribution at gross domestic production in the official celebration of Arab Tourism Day in Muscat, which comes this year under the theme of tourism and sustainable development. During the ceremony, the key of Arab Tourism 2018 was handed over to His Excellency Ahmed bin Nasser al-Mherzi, Minister of Tourism, who is the second at Arab level who won this honoring. The celebration aimed at highlighting the cultural and tourism landmarks in the Arab countries within the sustainable development through various programs that come with the objectives of the Arab Ministerial Council for Tourism and the Arab Tourism Organization in efforts to make the Arab region as a tourist destination. During the ceremony, an accompanying exhibition presented initiatives and projects that shed light on the efforts made by the SMEs, the public and private sector. The exhibition also featured a glimpse of the Sultanate's heritage. And now, all the way to the state of Kuwait, where they celebrate the 57th anniversary of its National Day, amid modern renaissance that has achieved aspirations of Kuwaiti citizens of development and modernization. This has been realized under the leadership of His Highness Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, Amir of Kuwait. The 57th National Day is considered a golden opportunity to reminisce about the maritime history of Kuwait and Kuwait's experience in building ships and diving in order to search for pearls. The 57th National Day came as Kuwait is moving forward to continue the development of its citizens and being a national priority through pioneering development plans. Kuwait also had enhanced the basic infrastructure of investment and providing skilled and trained national manpower. Within this context, the Sultanate and Kuwait is linked with strong ties, which was translated in political, economic and cultural cooperation between the two countries. His Majesty the Sultan and Amir of Kuwait played a major role in finding solutions for a number of crises in the regional and international level. Joint committees were established in order to lead cooperation march between the two countries in the economic, educational, environmental and health fields. The Omani Authority of Partnership for Development stressed the necessity of facilitating process of local commercial exchange and opening foreign markets for exporting local products in order to limit percentage of foreign imports and increase the percentage of gross domestic product in line with national economy strategy. During a work session supervised by the authority, 25 representatives for 12 concerned about industrial planning governmental bodies in the Sultanate discussed a study for establishing system of local added value program through unified electronic website among local and foreign international companies. Now, in a world where alliances of different countries have made significant progress in the practice of rheumatology by uniting under one umbrella, the time has allowed them to form Arab League Against Rheumatology Congress, which was held in Oman, has concluded after 3 days of deliberations. More details in the following report. One of the extraordinary scientific educational events that brought together many of the world's leading rheumatology experts to share their knowledge and their latest clinical research findings in various aspects related to rheumatology concluded today. Many of the attendees have expressed their satisfaction on the outcome of the Congress.
As you know, rheumatism is many diseases, and now we are in the era of the biologics. And every year we have a new biologics for different rheumatic diseases, and we hope in the future to be successful to find the drug that can cause remission of the diseases.
A great chance to be in the alAwliya in Muscat, Oman, and also we have a great chance that we had a paper, we presented oral presentation from our hospital, Tripoli Children's Hospital. We find it very useful, very nice and very informative. We share ideas, we meet a lot of friends from all over the world.
The Congress have covered well-selected subjects in rheumatology and was a great networking opportunity to discuss matters of interest to all rheumatologists around the world. And now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Clear skies will prevail over the Sultanate with chances of low clouds and fog late at night over the governorates of Al-Dhahira and Al-Buraymi. Winds will be northerly to northwesterly light to moderate. Seas will be moderate to rough with a maximum wave height of 2.5 meters. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Before the Shura Council, His Excellency the Minister of Transport and Communication stresses on the completion of Atom Muscat dual road in 2019. The Civil Service Council discusses in its first meeting of the year plans of training employees of ministries and government units in the Sultanate. Omani-Japanese Economic Cooperation Forum discusses increasing channels of commercial exchanges between the Sultanate and Japan, mainly at Special Economic Zone in Ad-Duqm. And details of the first voyage through the heart of empty quarters are showcased in the National Museum in Muscat. And with that, we do conclude this news bulletin from all of us here in the studio and the newsroom. We do thank you for joining us. Wish you a pleasant evening and good night.